Alright,
Top of the league.
There you go. Thank you. That's big. Thanks for watching. Welcome to the stream, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. If you are new around here, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. United are still top of the league, as my announcer just said over there, over my right shoulder. We are still top of the league after a 0-0 draw at Anfield. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure what to make of it. I think, you can't really moan too much about where it's left us in the league. I don't think you can moan too much about the performance, apart from how we went forward and our lack of creativity in the game, really. But we did create 2 gilt-edge opportunities that we didn't take. And that is something which is going to be frustrating as we look through this game. But in the end of the day, I would have taken a 0-0 draw at Anfield every day of the week if he offered it to me before the game started. So overall, I'm not too disappointed. Obviously, those chances we had with Pogba and Bruno Fernandes are going to replay in my head. They're going to live in my head rent-free, mate. I'm telling you. They're going to be... It's just... Looking at them is just going to make me so frustrated. But you have to, look at the positives. And defensively today, we were sound. We were sound defensively. Fair play to Victor Lindelof. Whatever I said, whatever I did, I didn't mean it. Because Victor Lindelof, for me, had a very good game. And a lot of United fans before the game were saying that, he was the wrong selection. I was saying that Victor Lindelof was the wrong selection as well. But he proved us wrong. He was a fantastic asset in that back line. He made some really important tackles, some really important clearances as well. So fair play to Lindelof and Harry Maguire. We got a clean sheet at the Anfield. And that is something which I didn't think we were going to be saying. I said in the preview with Jack that if we got a clean sheet at Anfield, I'd be absolutely staggered. And we did. And I'm so happy to be able to say that. And I think it does show a step in the right direction, that we can get these clean sheets at Anfield, at tricky places to come. We can get these clean sheets and we can get these results. The point obviously leads us top of the table. Leicester are in second place right now. We're still 3 points clear of Liverpool, 2 points clear of Leicester. And we're top of the league. We are top of the league outright. And I think a lot of people didn't expect us to be when this fixture came around, especially after that Burnley game. A lot of people thought Liverpool were going to knock us off our perch, so to speak. But they didn't. And, in some ways, you've got to be happy with that draw. You've got to be happy and got to take the positives from it. I think there is definite confidence to take from it. One player that I do want to highlight in this game was Luke Shaw. For me, he was man of the match today. Had a fantastic performance. Really contained Mohamed Salah. And he's not the first Man United fullback to contain Mohamed Salah. But he did a brilliant job on Salah. And I thought Wan-Bissaka actually did a very good job on Sadio Mane as well. Didn't allow him the freedom to create. And, we know that Liverpool are so dangerous with the front three they possess. And especially with Salah and Mane. And we did very well at containing them. And also we defended crosses into the box well. I was astounded when I saw Harry Maguire clearing something at the back post. I never thought I would see any Manchester United player clearing anything at the back post. I was thinking, hold on, he's in the right position. He's in the right position for a cross. So, look, we've got to take the positives from it. There are definite positives to take. Obviously, we could have won that game. Pogba has a massive chance. Fernandes has a massive chance as well. So it'll be a bit frustrating looking back. But at the same time, you've got to put it in perspective. Look at the teams that have turned up at Anfield and not won. Jose Mourinho's Spurs lost at Anfield 2-1. Obviously, they were a bit unlucky to not get a point. But look at the teams that have gone to Anfield this season and have lost and have not picked up any points. So I hate to sound like Jose Mourinho, but I think if we look back at the end of the season, that point won't be the worst point in the world. So I don't think we should be too downhearted. Yes, it's very healthy to, be disappointed in ourselves when we don't win these games. It shows that our mentality is changing and our expectations are also changing. But I think you've got to be happy with the point. I'm happy with the point. Let me know if you're not in the chat. Kobe, thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining, Kobe. Footy Crew Show joined us as well. He says, we were lucky tonight. Happy with the point. Still top of the league. Exactly. Take the positive. Take the positive. Dazza as well. Thanks for joining, Dazza. Appreciate it. He says, big point. It was a big point. It could prove to be a massive point come the end of the season. So I agree. It's a big point at Anfield. Not very many teams this season, let me tell you, are going to be going to Anfield and coming away with anything. So the fact we got a point, you've got to be happy with that in some respects. Matthew's joining us. Thanks for joining us. Says, should have ended their unbeaten record, man. Exactly. We could have done. We should have ended their unbeaten record. Paul Pogba slams the ball straight at us and he couldn't get out of the way of that if he tried. Bruno Fernandes' one was a little bit more tame, but it's a great save by Alisson as well. So we had the opportunities. But unfortunately we didn't take them. And that's something that I've been drumming on about in these match previews, that if we take our chances, we can beat anyone. And today, we probably should have beaten a Liverpool side that haven't been beaten at Anfield in the last 3 years. So this is what I'm saying. When we take our chances, we can beat anyone. Anyone. So that's my 2 cents on that. Dazza says, I'm sorry to say if there's any Rashford fans in the chat because he's one greedy sod. Rashford didn't have the best of games today. No hiding away from that fact. His decision making was poor. I think his final ball was poor. And Rashford as of late hasn't been great. I think his final ball is something which needs to be looked at. His finishing is definitely not up to scratch. But this season overall, he's had an alright season and he has been able to pop up in those big moments. If he had scored the chance that he had, or just seen Cavani as well, because there was a 2-on-2 where Cavani was running away with it, Rashford had it, and Cavani made a run just across the face of defence. And if Rashford had spotted that run, who knows where we'd be right now. But I think decision making needs to be worked on. I think just in terms of his finishing, in terms of his end product, definitely work needs to be done there. But there's no doubt he's had a very big contribution to where we are right now in the season. Phil Crucio says Liverpool in the FA Cup next weekend will be a different game next Sunday. Yeah, and I'm looking, obviously, we didn't get beaten in the league, and I think, most United fans would, I think most United fans going into both these games would say, they'd rather lose the FA won the league, and obviously we've drawn this one, so the FA Cup would be lovely to win it, and it's always good to be in with a chance of winning a trophy until the very end. But going away to Anfield, the FA Cup, I can see Liverpool resting players, and I think we could rotate as well, see someone like Donny van de Beek come in, so it'll be a very interesting game. As you said, I think it will be a different game to what we saw today. Probably not as cagey. I think it'll be a lot more open, with both teams not being that afraid to lose in an FA Cup tie. So hopefully we get a better game on Sunday, because today's game for the neutral must have been terrible. I mean, obviously my ass was flapping during the game because I'm a United fan, I'm not a neutral. But for a neutral, that was a shocking game once again. Adam says Henderson is saying the ref shouldn't have blown the whistle at half time. To be fair, Mane was in and he was onside. I mean, if that happened to Manchester United, I would be fuming, to be fair. So I do sympathise with Henderson, although I don't like saying that I sympathise with the Liverpool captain, trust me. But I do sympathise with him on that point. But the game's the game. Listen, the game's the game. Tierney came out with trumps for us. And to be honest with you, when I saw that, I thought, is it going to be our day? That sort of, little bit of hope, that little bit of luck that came our way. I was thinking maybe today was going to be our day. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Because Alisson made some really good saves, to be fair to him. Dazza says, Liverpool fans crying over half-time whistle. Keep crying, salty fans. I love that, Daz. I love that. Rich has joined us. Thanks for joining, Rich. Appreciate it. He says, Liverpool hardly created anything. By the way, make sure to check out Rich Sports and as well Daz's football stand if you haven't already. Brilliant stuff over there. Yeah, I mean, one thing I want to praise massively is our defence. Defensively today, we were rock solid. Victor Lindelof and Maguire, before the game, I gave him so much stick. I gave Solskjaer mostly the stick for picking Lindelof over Eric Bailly. I think a lot of United fans on social media, if you guys were on social media before the start of the game, would have noticed the onslaught of abuse Solskjaer and Lindelof were getting before the game, saying it was a terrible selection. And to be fair, I was thinking the same. But fair play to Victor Lindelof. Credit where credit is due. He really stepped up to the plate today. Some really incredible tackles, some great blocks and clearances as well. Fair play to Lindelof. He had a good game today, and I thought Maguire as well looked solid. So it's always good to have a few defenders on good form so you can swap them around. And hopefully Lindelof can have some good form right now because we'll need it. We've still got games coming thick and fast. We're playing midweek, then the weekend. So hopefully they can continue their good form. But Lindelof today was brilliant. It really was brilliant. Matthew says 1 goal versus top 6 sides this season. It's a little bit of a concern. I think we just didn't take our chances today, though. We could have scored a few goals in this game. We didn't create as many as we'd hoped, and obviously that's mainly to do with our game plan. We'd like to, play on the front foot. We like to counter. When you've got a team with the quality of Liverpool, they're going to have most of the possession, which means you're not going to have as much of an opportunity to create chances. Now, whether we agree with that or not, we've come out with a point today, and we came out with a point against Man City as well. Didn't obviously work against Spurs or like Arsenal or Chelsea, but regardless of that, we got the point today. And defensively, we were very solid. We were very sound. So there's obviously positives to take from that. But obviously with that stat, you have to say it's a negative that we're not creating chances. But it's a little bit of a worry. And I think one worrying thing, I don't want to bring down the tone, but probably Bruno Fernandes' form right now. I think a lot of us thought that this was a game that he was going to step up, and he didn't look terrible, but he just seemed a little bit off. His passing wasn't as good. He was trying a few Hollywood passes when really all he needed to do was just play the simple ball and continue the attack. But sometimes he was overcomplicating it, and sometimes he just didn't do sometimes there would be a complicated pass on for him, but then he'd go for the simple one. You think the decision making was a little bit off, but for me, his form as of late hasn't been great, and as you saw, as he went off, he was very frustrated that he was being brought off, but I don't think it would have made a difference anyway, even if he was on the pitch. So I think Bruno Fernandes, for me, that his form is a little bit worrying, but at the same time, he's got time to bring that back up. And even when he's not on form, he still looks like he could potentially just play a quality ball over the top. He's that sort of player. Jamie's joined us. Thanks for joining, Jamie. Always good to hear from you, mate. He says, good point if you ask me. Said all week it wouldn't be a bad result. 2 seasons ago, we lose that 3-0. Well, exactly. You've got to put it in perspective. Last season we turned up to Anfield with not a hope in hell, and we got beaten. And this time we turned up to Anfield with a lot more confidence. We didn't get the win. But, we're coming up game at Anfield feeling disappointed that we didn't win. That for me has got to be that has got to be a step in the right direction, especially in terms of mentality and confidence within the fan base and also the players as well. I think last season, if we got a point at Anfield like we did today, Solskjaer would have been really praising the players, acting like we've won the game. But if you actually hear what Solskjaer said after the game, he was actually quite disappointed in the way we played. So in some ways, that's also a good sign that Solskjaer and everyone is expecting more from this team, and that means that the teammates are going to be demanding more from each other, and that'll make us get better results. So you have to look at the positives. Kobe says, why did Ollie take Bruno off in a game we're trying to win? I did think it was a little bit puzzling taking him off towards the end. Obviously, Greenwood came on and he didn't really get any touch of the ball. And Fernandes is one of those players, as we talked about, who could have created that killer chance at the end. But to be honest with you, I don't think it would have made too much of a difference. I don't think it would have done. But obviously, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Rich says, 4 points versus Burnley and Liverpool, 4 more than we got last year. Exactly. You have to put in perspective of the stuff we did last year, and these people saying we're not winning these big games against the top 6 sides. We're showing no progress. Today is a big example of how we have progressed. As I said, the reaction of the fan base, the reaction of Solskjaer, the fact that we're disappointed with a draw at Anfield, that shows progression to me. That shows a change in mentality to me. So I think, some people are a bit doom and gloom. Obviously, there was the big Hollywood chance for us to beat Liverpool and, take their record away from them. But I tell you what, it's not a bad point. It really isn't. Dazza said, think he was going for a point, either that or he wanted to put Pogba at cam and have more pace out wide. Oh yeah, that's when Bruno Fernandes came off. Yeah. I thought Pogba wasn't bad today. I mean, it would have been so good. It would have been the icing on the cake if he had scored that chance. But unfortunately, he hits it straight at Alisson. But I thought Pogba wasn't bad today. In fact, out of him and Bruno, I thought Pogba played the better today, and he's probably in better form right now. But it's one of those where Pogba is starting to play well, and I think we needed this. We needed Pogba to step up, because in games like this where Bruno Fernandes has an off game, previously when Pogba wasn't playing well or wasn't in the team, we'd always end up losing or playing really poorly because no one was there to pick up the slack. But Bruno Fernandes, even when he's off form now, has Paul Pogba next to him, who can play really well and is playing really well right now and can create and can cause problems. And I think that is why we still had a little bit of a threat and carried a little bit of a threat with us as we went forward, even throughout the game when Bruno Fernandes wasn't at his best, because Pogba was able to pick up the slack when needed. So that is why it's so important that he does keep this form up. So yeah, hopefully he does. Rich says, passes to Rashford too slow, he's always offside. Yeah, it's one of those ones where, as we're watching it on the TV, you can see Rashford make the run, and then just after he's started to make the run, when it's almost too late, you see the player look up, and then by that point, it's just, he's offside, and everyone watching it knows, but the players on the pitch don't. And it is frustrating. It's frustrating. I think out of the 7 offsides we saw in the first half, 4 of them were Marcus Rashford, at the fault of Marcus Rashford, or penalised against Marcus Rashford. But I think Rashford, when you've got a player who runs in behind as much as Rashford does, you are going to get those. And in some ways, you'd rather have a player who's offside quite a lot but does make those runs than have a player that never runs in behind and then you can never use the outlet, if you know what I mean. Kobe says, feels like a loss, but I'll take a point. Well, yeah, listen, I know it's a bit disappointing that we missed our opportunity to beat Liverpool because we had opportunities to win that game. We have had opportunities to win that game, but I feel like I'm happy with it. I'll take the point. I will take the point. I don't think for me it feels like a loss, but I'll take the point because that point at the end of the season, we could be looking back at it and say, hey, we're the only top side to get a point at Anfield this season. Who knows? We could be looking back at that point with the trophy in our hands, a Premier League medal round our necks and saying, hey, that point wasn't bad, was it? So you've got to put it in perspective, in my opinion. I know, we could have won that game and we had chances to win it, but you have to put it in perspective, in my view. Jamie says, Rashford looks way off it at the moment. Needs a goal or two, he does. Fernandes is always going to have quiet games. Well, this is the thing. And he also goes on and says, can't expect him to dig us out every week. Exactly that. Fernandes, even though he's been playing like a superhuman since he joined Manchester United almost a year ago, he is human and he will have periods of bad form like every player does, and it seems like right now is one of those periods of bad form, and we can't just rely on Bruno Fernandes, and this is why we needed the likes of Paul Pogba, Martial, Rashford, these guys to step up. So you need to win any sort of title or trophy, the whole team needs to be playing well and the whole team needs to have quality. Look at that Liverpool side today. All of those players, or at least most of those players, are top quality. The Man City team, most of those players are top quality. In our team, we're looking at 2 or 3 individuals who are proper world-class individuals that are going to pull us out of games. And recently it's been working. We have been getting good results. But especially in these sort of times when Bruno Fernandes isn't performing, you need others to step up. And Pogba today did all right. Obviously, if he scored the goals, if he scored his chance, then he would have really stepped up once again in the big game. But I agree with you, Jamie. I agree with your point. Matthew says we could also look back having missed out on the league by a point. Yeah, but that's a bit of a pessimistic view, I feel. I mean, we could do. I'm not disputing you, but we could be looking back at it saying, yeah, we could have won that game. But at the same time, putting my Jose Mourinho cap on, it's a good point. It's a good point. And even Sir Alex Ferguson said when he won titles, your aim away from home against the top 4 was just not to lose the game. If you come away with a draw, that's a good result. And if he says it, then that's fine. If it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. Adam says, Kieran, is it time to let go of Martial? I don't think Martial had the best of games today. I don't think he was really in the play. But I feel like when we do play counter-attacking, Martial isn't really the guy. He's not the guy that we pin our hopes on. Rashford and Bruno Fernandes are the two that we look to link up, really. Martial is a bit of a bit part player when we do counter-attack. When we're playing teams where we're on the front foot, Martial does seem to come to the fore and, really causes problems for defences. But when we are looking to counter-attack and having our strikers running behind, Martial isn't really the guy for that. So I think today was just not Martial's day. I think it wasn't really... He wasn't the main guy that was the focus of our strategy today. And potentially against Fulham he will be. And I was surprised that he started today. I thought he was injured. I thought Cavani was going to start. And maybe if Cavani did start, we would have created more chances. Because I noticed as soon as Cavani came on, we did look a lot more threatening. And I think his movement in the box against those two, let's face it, central midfielders playing centre-back, would have been very difficult to deal with because both of those players aren't natural centre-backs that have dealt with marking that sort of movement. And Cavani could have made the space and then, Rashford and Martial and those sort of guys can, make the runs that were needed. So, listen, I just feel like, for me, I would have started Cavani, but, Solskjaer made the choice and in the end we've come out with a fairly positive result. Dazzler says Martial, Rashford are useless. Yeah, I think both of them didn't have the best of games today. And he also says Bruno got outplayed. Yeah, Bruno didn't have the best games today. He really, really didn't. As we've talked about, it's also 1-0 City. Oh, Daz. Yeah, listen. It's not a surprise. Apparently John Stones has scored it as well. He's on a very good run of form right now, John Stones. Obviously, in the game he played against us in the Carabao Cup, he also scored at the back post. And I thought, for Firmino was going to score at the back post as well, but Harry Maguire got it away. And as I said, I was almost surprised to see a Man United player clear a ball away at the back post. It's almost weird to see a player at the back post in the right position, but credit where credit's due. Fantastic work. Jamie says Luke Shaw was unbelievable today. He was. Luke Shaw was my man of the match. He was brilliant. Contained Mohamed Salah all game. Didn't really let him have a sniff. And also got forward a bit. You know, Luke, I think, again, his final ball let him down a little bit, but you know, he is someone who causes a lot of problems when he does go forward. I think Luke Shaw definitely deserved man of the match. I think he was given man of the match, maybe by the Sky Sports pundits. I think in terms of man of the match, you could even say either one of Harry Maguire or Victor Lindelof. I thought defensively overall, we were great today, and that is a positive we've got to take. I think up front, we struggled today. I think our forward players did let us down a little bit. Lack of quality finishing and also lack of a final ball as well. Bruno Fernandes let us down in the big game, and I was really hoping that Fernandes was going to properly step up and be the guy to play his first game at Anfield, get the goal and just come back with a bang. But unfortunately it wasn't that today. We've still got Fulham in midweek, and that is going to be a good game for him, hopefully, to get back on track. My man of the match was Luke Shaw. Let me know your man of the match. Obviously Jamie says Luke Shaw was unbelievable. But you've got to take the point, we're currently top of the league, second to Leicester City, who are 2 points behind us. Obviously, Manchester City with a win in this game can go, I think they go 2 points behind us as well. So, as it stands right now, until Man City play their game in hand, we will be top of the league. So you've got to celebrate that. Iron Man, join us. Thanks for joining. So still, we are top of the league. We want to move forward. Fulham next. Took the words right out of my mouth, Iron Man. Perfect timing. Thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it. By the way, if you are new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's always appreciated. And also, if you haven't already, hit that like button. It really does help small creators out like me. So please do, if you are enjoying the content, leave a like. It's absolutely... really do appreciate it, honestly. All support is really, really appreciated around here. We go into that Fulham game with a chance to continue our run at the top and also just get some more confidence. And I think that defensive performance today should give the confidence to our back line, and I wouldn't be surprised, to be fair, if against Fulham we're 2-0 down and it's all gone pear-shaped. That's a sort of typical United where we defend really well in a big game and then the next game, we're struggling. Because we kept a clean sheet against Man City as well. It was a 0-0 against Man City. So, I hope we can continue that, because if we can defend well consistently, we will put in a challenge for this league, because we've got the quality up front, we've got the quality in midfield. We just have to defend well consistently. If we do, we'll be absolutely fine. Don't you worry about that. Dazza goes with man of the match, is sure. I agree. Owen says, Liverpool barely laid a glove on us, to be honest. I take the point, but I'm frustrated that we didn't take our chances. Well, very similar to what Rich and what Matthew said as well. So, I'll take the point. Obviously, we could have won the game, but at the same time, a point at Anfield is nothing to be sniffed at. It's not a bad result. Iron Man says Lindelof is man of the match for sure. He defended well today. I think Lindelof again is a good call for man of the match. Iron Man, I thought, especially with all the kind of negative comments he was getting before the game, a lot of stick he was getting before the game, and I'm going to hold my hands up and say I was one of those fans that thought it was a ridiculous selection by Solskjaer to put Lindelof in. But fair play to Lindelof. He put in a brilliant display, and I'm so happy that he did. So happy for him, and hopefully this boosts his confidence. I wouldn't be surprised if Bailly comes back in for the Fulham game, to be fair, but it's good to have three centre-backs that are playing well, and right now we have. So hopefully, Lindelof can continue that vein of form, and, we need our squad as deep as possible, so hopefully we have that. Dana says, we had more shots on target from only 7 shots that Liverpool did all game with 19 shots. Exactly, yeah. We created more chances than Liverpool. No doubt about it. We had the best of the opportunities today. There's no doubt about it. Even Liverpool fans would have to admit that we were the ones that if any team were going to win it, we were going to win it. So, it is what it is, isn't it? James says, yeah, 2-0 down and 4-2 win in the second half. Can see it happening. Yeah, I mean, maybe that was the reason we didn't win, because we didn't go behind. Maybe we had to go behind. That was it. We should have just let Liverpool score. And to be honest with you, they got close a few times, but David De Gea really didn't have to do much today. And I didn't expect that. I was on a stream before the game, actually, in the match build-up to the game. And one of the Liverpool fans said, well, actually, we all unanimously agreed that that David De Gea was going to be the most active and worked keeper in the game. Turned out to be completely wrong. And Alisson was the one making the gilt-edge opportunity or saving the big moments. And to be honest with you, before the game, I would not have expected that to be the case. I really wouldn't. So, again, a positive to take. Oh, it says, thank goodness my Insta story on Tuesday didn't come back to bite me. Yeah, obviously you pointed the trophy. It could still come back to bite you, mate. It still could come back to bite you at the end of the season. So who knows? But you know, there's still time. There's still time on that one. But we go to Fulham, and we take the point and move on. That's all you can do. I think the only kind of happiness I'm going to get from this point is the fact that Liverpool fans will be even more frustrated with the point than we are. So that is something that you can take as a positive. Liverpool fans tonight will not be happy. They will be frustrated. In fact, I've seen a few Liverpool fans on Twitter, and trust me, they are worried about their team. They are worried about the team and the performance they put out today. And the fact that United fans are a little bit critical of the finishing and that, to me, is a good sign that we're going in the right direction. The mentality is changing. So I'm looking forward to it. And Owen says he's not watching Match of the Day purely because of that Pogba chance. I can't go through that again. Well, listen, you know, these things happen, mate. These things happen. And to be honest, Match of the Day probably doesn't get as many views anyway. The highlights are literally on YouTube straight after the game. But I reckon I'm going to leave it there, guys. A short stream tonight. But Liverpool and United play out a 0-0 draw at Anfield, which means United stay 3 points clear at Liverpool, 2 points clear of Leicester at the top of the tree. And yeah, United are top of the league. Keep reminding yourself that. Every time you think, oh, we should have won at Anfield, keep reminding yourself, United are top of the league, 3 points ahead of Liverpool. Did you think at this point in the season we would be top of the league? Did you think after the start we had that we would be anywhere near top of the league? Then that's for me just to tell you to put it in perspective. Put this in perspective. But thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Please leave a like if you aren't already. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.